Good day, everyone, and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope, and a new Nigeria is certainly possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Today, we've come again to have a discussion on what is happening in Nigeria, especially as His Excellency Peter Obi has identified that Nigerians know by themselves that we are the poverty capital of the world. We are going to come up with that very tweet where Peter Obi make this very, very clear. And also we are bringing at this very hour what happened in Kano, talking about hunger in Nigeria. Youths all over a certain district of Kano went about their business, which is the economic hardship that is hitting everywhere in Nigeria. And you can see from the video circulating, trading online, where a truck was said to have been broken down on the road while youths climbed that very particular truck and did what they did the other time, which is they butchered all the cows right inside the truck and carted away different parts of this very particular thing that is happening in Kano, as we can see it trending all over. That is hunger on the land. The economic hardship is hitting Nigerians so bad to get to the point where even trucks carrying food items, cows, goat can no longer travel safely along the highway. That is what we see. And even the law enforcement officers who are around there look the other way. That shows you the kind of thing, the kind of hunger, the kind of hardship that is hitting Nigeria. Meanwhile, somewhere in Kano State, the Kano State government has noted that the recent court ruling that was delivered by a court, by Kano Federal High Court, presided over by Justice Abdullahi Muhammad Liman, indicates that Alhaji Muhammad Sanusi II is still the authentic Emir of Kano. That is coming from the government of Kano State. According to the report coming out from Kano, it said the Kano State Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice Haruna Issa Debri made this disclosure during a press conference that held at the Kano State Government House yesterday evening. Further, the Kano State government made it known that the implication of the court ruling means that all the Kano State actions before the emergence of the interim order by the court are validated. That is coming from the state, Kano State government. They also noted that the removal of the 5 Kano emirates created in the year 2019 is validated as well. Some part of the statement read, and I quote, "By implication, this means that Muhammadu Sanusi II remains the Emir of Kano." And that is what is happening in Kano. So somewhere we are seeing where youths in the same Kano State that are suffering of hunger is, you know, and the other side of it, government is said to even give an eviction notice to the Emir of the 15th Emir of Kano, that is Bayero, Emir Bayero's palace. They have asked the police to actually go and evict the Emir of Emir Bayero, but the police has said they are not going to do that. They are waiting for another court order. There are reactions everywhere about what is happening in Kano, and of course, we have the one of Chidi Odinkalu, a prominent Nigerian lawyer and a former chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, who had expressed skepticism about the recent High Court ruling in Kano regarding the Emirate Council Law of 2024. In a series of tweets that we can see on the screen now, Odinkalu questioned the timing and jurisdiction of the court decision. He pointed out that the judge claimed to have made an order on May 23, 2024 via virtual proceedings concerning a law that was sent to at 5 p.m. on the same day. Odinkalu question on this tweet is the judge has to explain at what time the suit was filed because no court registry is open at that hour of the night. Furthermore, Odenkalo highlighted inconsistencies in the court judgment, stating that the court deemed paragraph 3, 4, 6 of the enroll order as not relevant to this application. He further said, however, that the paragraphs where the judge recognized jurisdictional issues with exercising powers in relation to a chieftaincy dispute is questionable. And the Kano Emirate Council, which passed this very law and that was signed into law by the governor, has been a subject of controversy. This is all what we saw panning out. So we are going to have this discussion plus the tweet of His Excellency Peter Obi, and I'm not the only one to have this discussion. I have on Zoom well-meaning Nigerian and Obidient who are joining me on today's episode of the Hope Alive program. And let's start with the people on Zoom, since I'm the only one in the studio today. Let's start with Mr. Bassi. Mr. Bassi, we have seen what is transpiring in Kano State. First of all, we saw the side of hunger, the economic hardship that is hitting the country so bad that even His Excellency Peter Obi has a say on that today. But before you come on, I want you to take the two questions coming at this very hour together. Let's start with the tweet on His Excellency Peter Obi, which I'm going to display and also bring out to people so that we start that conversation from there. His Excellency Peter Obi said that the problem facing Nigeria are well known to all Nigerians. We are the poverty capital of the world, among the most insecure people on earth, among the hungriest, have poor education quality and the highest number of out-of-school children, high infant mortality, corruption, unemployment, the highest income gap between the poor and the rich, high corruption perception index, infrastructure and healthcare challenges, and more. His Excellency Peter Obi said that it is disheartening to hear those in charge who were hired to address our problems make statements like we are not the only ones struggling with poverty and hunger. And that is coming from what Chief Bola Tinubu said, that Nigeria is not the only one struggling with poverty and hunger. Instead of merely acknowledging that other countries face similar challenges, we need to hear a thorough plan of action to tackle our unique struggles. We require concrete solutions and a clear vision to address these issues, not comparisons that downplay our circumstances. I urge those in leadership positions to offer tangible solutions, not mere reminders that others face similar challenges. We need a comprehensive approach to tackle our specific challenges, not generalizations that dismiss our experiences. A true leader provides direction, guidance, solutions, and reassurance in times of crisis. This is the hallmark of visionary leadership and the trait of nations that are making progress and advancing their development. They don't simply state that the obvious, but offer a roadmap for overcoming obstacles. Just like a pilot who does not just announce turbulence, they assure passengers that they will do everything possible to ensure a safe journey. Only then can we begin to trust that our country is in capable hands, working towards a brighter future for all Nigerians. Signed, Peter Obi. This is coming from His Excellency Peter Obi. So coming to you, Bassi, I know a lot of thoughts on your mind at this point. We have the hunger that is hitting Kano. We have the government's position on the court matter. And then we have Peter Obi saying here that everybody in Nigeria knows that here is Nigeria here is the poverty capital of the world. What are your thoughts and your opinion on this?
Thank you so much, Mr. Kanu. Good day, everyone, and all the listeners across the world. PO have just nailed it. straight to the point, very accurate, apt at this point in time. There's no gainsaying that Nigerians are going through a horrible time. And looking at the video that was thrown up a while ago in Kano, is disheartening to see Nigerians get to that level of losing absolute control of their mentality. Just yesterday, if I must say, DMO released a report of our external debt, that's public debt, which has risen up to about 121 trillion, 0.67 trillion. And if you look at that, between 3 months, this government of Chief Tinubu have spent over 24 trillion naira. Overall, within a year, they have spent well over 40 trillion. And if you look around the economy, you can't see anywhere in this economy the reflection of 40 trillion. The question is, where is this money? Of course, you know what the answer is. It's very obvious. It has ended up in politicians' pockets. And Nigerians are suffering. And then they are coming up to give unnecessary excuses. This is the same excuses we've had during the time of Buhari, this APC government. They are very quick in comparing Nigeria with other nations, rather than provide solution, just like His Excellency Peter Obi have said. They knew what they were up against. They knew they were coming to fix an economy, and they told Nigerians, we can do this thing better than this people. Even though Nigerians didn't give them their mandate, they snatch it, run with it, but they cannot run
with it
the way it's supposed to be run. So when you look at all of this, and all they keep doing is giving excuses, I can bet you this PO's tweet, tomorrow you see the attack dog coming out to attack PO on saying the truth, putting out the record straight. This government needs to wake up and do much more than what they are doing. They must stand up and address Nigerians' socio-political problem and economic problem. Rather than giving excuses, other countries are going through this. Yes, other countries are going through this, and they are also solving their problem. When are we going to solve our own economic crisis? So this is what we need to do. Then coming back to Kano issue, the Emirate Council, I'll keep saying that the major challenge we have in this nation, our major problem are the judiciary. The judiciary are not helping Nigerians. How can you reconcile a court giving conflicting judgment? This is not the first time. You remember, during the tribunal, election tribunal, we saw various judgments coming out of judiciary. It clearly tells you that these people are joking with Nigerians. They are playing with Nigerians. And the same scenario that is happening in Rivers is also playing out here. What that simply means is that APC wants to take over Kano State by all means. The same thing they are doing in Rivers State. So it's high time, like I will always say, Nigerians need to wake up from our slumber. We need to wake up before we lose this nation. We need to wake up and do something drastic. That is my take for now. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And while we proceed to our Going to take the mic, Lord K. But Lord K, before I get to you, I want to emphasize what Mr. Bassi just mentioned as concerning the Kano saga. You know that a renowned lawyer, Femi Falana, has cautioned the that disregarding Supreme Court judgment by lower courts is a mockery of the rule of law. In an interview, Falana emphasized that High Court judges ignoring or overruling Supreme Court decisions undermines the hierarchy of courts and the legal system's integrity. He highlighted the specific issues of Federal High Court assuming jurisdiction over human rights matters related to traditional leadership, depositions, or reinstatement. Despite Supreme Court precedents, Falana stressed the importance of judicial hierarchy and adherence to Supreme Court decisions to maintain the rule of law and to prevent chaos in the legal system. And he was very clear. According to him, in quotes, it is a mockery of the rule of law if a High Court judge decides to ignore or overrule the judgment of the Supreme Court. So that is the bottom line of the whole confusion, because there is a confusion already in Kano State. The Kano State government is going the other way, while the other side of Emir Bayero people are on the other side. So let's first, before you come in, let's take Falana's interview, a very short one, so that we can also dive into that and take them together.
The court did say, from my understanding, and I've had the advantage of reading the proceedings of the court. What the Honorable Justice Lehman did say is that the order made by him on the 24th of May, which according to him was served on the first and the fourth defendant, that's the governor and the attorney general, on the 27th of May, is deemed to have been, they are deemed to have had knowledge of the order because of the fact that the order was reported in the social media. Sanusi Lamido Sanusi was not said to have disobeyed any order. So if the order affects him or affected him, he ought to have been put on notice. But what the court is saying, I cannot declare invalid the repeal law made by the House of Assembly.
Right.
And that repeal law empowers the governor to reinstate Sanusi Lamido Sanusi.
Right.
So is the order is a bit confusing.
It is confusing.
But what is important, which the learned trial judge did not address in his ruling today, is the convenient way by which two solid judgments of the Supreme Court on the limitation of the power of the Federal High Court to interfere in the affairs of traditional institutions. So it cannot be done via a fundamental right application. And in two cases, Olani and Aruyehu and Emir of Tuko and government of Gongola State, the Supreme Court made it clear that to be a chief is not a fundamental right. It's a privilege. And so you cannot go to the Federal High Court to say my right to the stool has been violated, or as in this case, a member of the Emirates went to court to say
that his human rights had been
violated. So there are problems. So because the judge was, I listened to him. His lordship was talking of the need to respect the rule of law. In any democracy, in any country that loudly claims to proclaim to operate under the rule of law, the judgments of the Supreme Court are binding on all authorities and persons. And it's a mockery of the rule of law if a high court judge decides to ignore or overrule the judgments of the Supreme Court. So that is the bottom line of the whole confusion.
Right.
It is whether the Federal High Court has jurisdiction to determine human rights matter arising from the deposition or reinstatement of a tradition.
Okay, so this is what Femi Falana emphasized more on. So coming to you right away, Lord Kingsley, I want you to answer these three things at a time because of our time. First, we know that there is hunger in the land. Of course, we've seen the video of a cattle-bearing truck who had engine problems and the driver parked to resolve the problem. And then the hungry youth mounted the truck and butchered all the calves, with each of them going home with what he could grab. That's one. Then two, we have what our own P2B's Excellency, who said that Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world. That is no longer news, that everybody knows about this. And then, of course, Mr. Bassi did mention the debt profile of this administration, where is those things going? And of course, this Kano emirate also. So 4 specific things, please make it as short as possible. Thank you.
Fellow Nigerians, good evening everyone in the studio and my fellow Zoom participants. Thank you for this opportunity again, and I wish you all a happy weekend. I mean, the topics we've got to discuss about today, I mean, they are fundamental in the sense that, I mean, we all know the economy of the land. We all know what is actually transpiring in Nigeria as a whole. How the government really doesn't care about its citizens. How all they know how to do is to borrow, 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 and squander, squander, squander. All they're doing is making sure they live a luxurious life and then try to dictate what the citizens can actually earn. This is a government that has not been able to settle on the minimum wage of its citizens. A government that has been borrowing from day one. I mean, from what my colleague actually quoted before, that the debt profile of the nation is just, I mean, out of reach. It's out of reach for just 1 year of this government. During the time of Buhari, I believe they said the country was about $87 trillion in debt. Naira, sorry. But now, under 1 year, this government that has no direction, will not have a direction, and does not have a direction, has actually now amassed that now to about 127 trillion naira. I mean, Buhari did his 87 trillion in 8 years. But under 1 year, Tinubu has gone halfway of that already. So imagine what this guy would be doing in the next 3 years that he's got left. He's going to leave great-grandchildren great-great-grandchildren repaying the money he has actually borrowed to cost luxuries for himself. A country that, I mean, people are actually dying, people are actually suffering, no medical care, no essential basic care for the citizens, but then you are talking of going to buy private jets. You are paying 90 billion naira for people to go on pilgrimage. You are renovating the government house, the vice president's house, with $40 trillion naira. Let alone the one you did for yourself and your senators. So what are we talking about here? Does he really care? The answer is absolutely no. He's asking you to tighten your belt. Tighten your belt. Hold on. But they are busy enjoying themselves. Flying around the world, going to uninvited destinations, only to go and take pictures and shake hands. I mean, it's surprising that we are still thinking about all this and thinking things will go well, things will go right. On the tweets that our PO actually came up with, that Nigeria is now the debt capital of the world. There's no doubt about that. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Because all they do is borrow to consume. Borrow to consume. There's no production. For 1 year, tell me one thing that this government has actually produced or empower the citizen to produce. Is it Dangote refinery that, I mean, they've been building for the past 5 years? What else? Port Harcourt refinery, up to now, not a drop of oil has come out of that place. It's all promise, nothing. And then we're saying, oh, well, Peter Obi is talking for the sake of it. Prove it wrong. Our debt profile, the debt profile. I mean, let's take, for example, Edo State, a PDP government-owned state. When the government, Obaseki actually got into Edo State was about, I think they were owing about 87 billion naira. That's what Edo State was actually in debt with. But as we speak right now, Edo State is in over 600 billion naira debt. This is a state that gets FARC allocation every month. This is a state that, I mean, for political reasons, for the elections reasons, this man has actually now come out to say, oh, he can actually afford to pay a minimum wage of 70,000. Why has he not done this for the past 6 years or the past 7 years? Now it's electionary period now. He wants to now use that as a bait to catch the vulnerable, to catch those that will believe on his Naira program. 600 billion, that is what Edo State is in debt with right now. Who is going to be paying that money? That is why he's coming out. That's why he's coming out now, wanting his own financial advisor, his economic advisor, to now take his place. That's why he's pushing Okwebolo to come in. Because Okwebolo has been his economic advisor for the past 7 years. And who is Okwebolo's coming assistant as well now? That has been his own DG as well. So he's trying to bring these people in to cover his tracks. So that there will be no investigation into that 600 billion debt Edo State has gone into. That's a typical example. And that is just in one state. Imagine what's going to be happening, around other states. Now you have a federal government that borrows, he's fetching water from well. Well, I don't blame him, because the people that are actually granting him these loans or giving him this money are the ones who should be after. The World Bank, IMF, all these Chinese companies or these Chinese nations is going to borrow this money. Nigeria is now infested with Chinese. Everything there is such. You may wake up one day and they tell you China has taken over Nigeria, and there's nothing you can do about it. If something is not done right now to stop this nonsense, if something is not done to stop this nonsense, I mean, we should expect something to happen very soon. And then on the topic of Kano, on the topic of Kano states, well, I believe there should be what we call the 3 levels of governments in every country. That is the judiciary, the legislatures, and the executives. But in Nigeria, where they say they have democracy, where they practice the rule of law, where does all that come in? The judiciary and the legislatures, they are all under the executives. They are all under the executive because they receive their money from the executive. Whereas it should not be like that. There should be separation of powers. There should be absolute separation of powers so that the country can be run in absolute sanity. But no, that is not what is being practiced. Where you have a government where you say you have to grab it, you have to run with it, you have to snatch it. How do you expect this to happen? That's what's playing out in Kano State right now, where every arm of the government dictates for themselves. They want to at least share from the national cake. That is why you see these lawyers, where you see, I mean, a high court judge overruling a Supreme Court judge. Why? Because he's more influential. He knows what are given the dollars. A high court judge overruling the Supreme Court judge. I mean, that has a lot to do with the corruption in the land. It has a lot to do with the corruption in the land. And if nothing is done about it, that is why we are now thinking about what has actually happened with INEC. What has actually happened with the IREV? What has actually happened with the chairman for INEC himself, Mahmoud? Why is he still there right now? Why is he still there? Because there's absolutely no rule in the land, no laws in the land. This is somebody that should be rotting in jail right now for what he has thrown Nigeria into. But he still has the guts to go out. He still has the guts to go out, to go and, I mean, conduct elections after the nonsense he did and put Nigeria in this condition.
But the police and the soldiers, they're behind him.
Oh, absolutely. They're all behind him. Why? Because of the dollars, because of money, because of money. There's absolute anarchy because people are hungry. People are hungry. So they are all after their stomach infrastructures, how they can feed themselves. That is what's going on. So, I mean, if something is not done now, the elections coming up in Edo State, is another dangerous ground where they're all playing games right now. PDP are now, I mean, they're advertising themselves as Obidient. Labour, which of course we know we are Obidient, but then PDP is now advertising themselves as Obidient as well. Why? Because they want to cause confusion. They want to use the federal minds to do whatever they want to do. APC, they've just gone quiet. They've gone quiet, expecting that, oh, well, on that day, they know what they want to do. And they are waiting that, yes, what Mahmoud Mohammed actually did last year, he's going to repeat it again. Where they will go and announce results at God know what time. They'll announce the results, and then they'll say go to court because they have all their men waiting in court to interpret nonsense. Regardless of what Mr. Peter Obi actually produced as evidence, they ruled it all out. That's what they are waiting to practice again. They want to make the nation an APC country. Let's keep an eye on these issues. Thank you very much.
Oh, yes. Let's keep an eye on this very issue. Delta Statesman comes up to give us his own opinion on this. I want him to listen to this very commentary that is coming out from Kano on what transpired in court. Let's take a listen.
It's full of legal battles to settle disputes arising from the Kano emirate tussle. At the Federal High Court, parties have arrived as both the 15th and 16th emirs of Kanu, Aminu Bayero and Muhammad Sunusi II, await a decision. The presiding judge, Justice Abdullahi Liman, during his ruling, declares the Kano Emirate Council Repeal Law 2024 as valid, but all actions carried out by Governor Abba Yusuf following its passage as null and void. This could imply that the appointment of the 16th Emir Sunusi II is invalidated by the court. Justice Liman further ordered all parties to maintain the status quo and say,
the court has notified all steps taken after the order is made, and that those steps were taken in breach of the court order, and that is all. Subsequently, the court has granted civil proceedings. Since the matter is before the Court of Appeal, no court can take any further steps until the Court of Appeal determine the case at the appeal before it on the issue of jurisdiction.
The action of the state, that is the Kano state government, the first defendant and the fourth defendants are null and void. I don't know which of the action he's referring to. He hasn't specified any of the action that he's talking about. And apart from that, he doesn't have the, to my understanding, the law, that is the order of contempt, doesn't permit any of action to be declared null and void. Only what you need to commit the person to commit.
We trust in Allah. Today, 20th, we have heard the judgment or the ruling of this court. This ruling is wonderful.
Additionally, Justice Liman granted the respondent's application for a stay of proceedings pending the hearing and determination of a related case on jurisdiction at the Court of Appeal. Consequently, the case has been transferred to Federal High Court 3 for further proceedings. The Kano State Police Command had called on residents to remain peaceful and patriotic as the courts continue with efforts to resolve the complicated and sensitive matter.
Commentary coming out from Kano. So, Elder Statesman Obade, please help us give us your own opinion on these 4 things that is of context here, please, and do make it short so that our time we can, confine ourselves to the time we have for the program. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, people from the diaspora, all Nigerians, and people who are listening in. Regarding the judicial jingoism in Kano, I'm not, well, since last year at the election, I don't believe in the Nigerian judiciary anymore. So that's very quickly. Let's get rid of that. The whole thing is rubbish. Coming to the hunger in the land, we know how bad it is now that individuals can, a broken down vehicle, they climb onto it and butcher the cows, and everybody, they carry things home, pieces of meat. You can see how bad it is. They're not phased anymore. People are ready to die, searching for food. So Tinubu is not listening to the masses. He's not. All he's doing is, prancing around, hey, I'm the king of the castle, bribe everybody else, and people are dying. It doesn't care about the black man. So I feel sorry for him, but more so, I feel sorry for the Nigerians who are the people who are suffering from these
calamity
state of affairs. Yeah, they're suffering from this state of affairs. So we need to buck up. We need to try to understand. We need to stop everything about this tribal sentiment. We need to stop all this rubbish about religion. We need to believe that we are Nigerians and that we can help each other to get along. And we need to begin to say to our politicians, you must do the right thing. And that's it. So people who are hungry, they're angry people. Because and moreover, when you're hungry as well, you find that the brain stops functioning properly. So you become indecisive. So I don't know how we're going to get to this, but I believe that this cooperative we're dancing with is the only way forward to get our people, to teach them the right things, and to advise them about what they can do, to progress themselves. I think that's all I can say for now, because Nigeria is now a basket case, which we must solve the problem. We must solve the problem. We have to solve the problem. Thank you very much.
Solving the problem is, thank you, Elder Obode. Solving the problem is what it should be, but like His Excellency Peter Obi articulated in his tweet, they are not ready to solve the problem. There's actually a news coming in, unverified reports that Tinubu had already purchased the 2 presidential jets, nearly 1 trillion. That is coming from a tweet from Jackson Ude. They said that this very purchase is without any legislative approval, that Chief Bola Tinubu acquired 2 presidential jets for about $630 million, approximately 940 billion, from a deal allegedly brokered by Chogris. The 2 jets currently undergoing fittings in Europe were bought more than a month ago, before Tinubu approached the National Assembly for approval. Under the laws of Nigeria, it is an impeachable offense to make such huge purchases without legislative approval. The 2 jets are expected to arrive in Nigeria next month after the fittings are done. This is according to Jackson Ude, the person that just did this very tweet. So I'm coming to you, Tony. Please, very quickly, while itemizing the things that we're discussing today, please, if you have something to say about this, and note that this is an allegation, a tweet from Jackson Ude, who is saying that Chief Bola Tinubu had already purchased the 2 presidential jets for nearly 1 trillion naira. Incredible. Whether you call it a media propaganda, I wouldn't know, but this is just coming in right now. So, Tony Orji, please quickly respond.
Well, thank you, everybody, wherever you are listening from. Nigerians, actually, let me use this analogy. They're in an airplane, and halfway into the flight, a group of guys came in and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, the plane has been hijacked, and we're going to tell you where we're going a few minutes from now." And at a point, they came back and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we are still going to tell you in a few minutes where we're going. In the meantime, the plane is flying to nowhere. And by the time you know it, it ran out of fuel and plunges into the sea. And that is where Nigeria as a country is headed as we speak. We have a group of guys that are not exactly sure what they want to do with this country. They just want to be in the seat of power and grab as much as they can because there is no consequence. Nothing is going to happen. And that's what's going on. That's for as far as Nigeria, that's all I have to say. Then on the Kano issue, is incredible. The same is happening in River State, where you have cross judgments from the states, from Abuja. Each person is trying to buy a judgment that suits their own purpose. And that's what's going on. That's what has been going on.
Of course.
And it's kind of the judiciary is like Governor B said, the highest purchase. If you have the highest amount of money to purchase judgment, you are in. Yes. And it's like what we've been having since last year. Imagine, like in any state, for example, the tribunal could not determine whether the certificate the current governor submitted is fake or not, despite the fact that the issuer of that certificate said they did not issue it.
There you go.
They just glossed over it, gave judgment that doesn't make sense to anybody, and they get away with it. So people, they do things in this country. They don't care. It's just, if you have power, if you have connections, you can get away with anything. And that's where we are, in an airplane headed to nowhere. And
as long as they're paying dollars,
when we will crash.
Yeah, Tony, let me come in quickly, please, Tony. This very trending news right now. Can you please comment on it? Is it possible that Chief Bola Tinubu had purchased the 2 presidential jets already? But you think that is possible? You think he could have done that without any legislative approval?
Yes. That is the point I'm trying to make.
Anything is everybody.
Anything is possible. You know, remember the Ethiopian Airlines? In the last administration, they rented and painted and said it's going to be Nigerian Airways.
Yeah.
And they get away with it. This is Nigeria. I won't be surprised, even though it's not confirmed, but I will not be surprised if it is true. And that's why they're rushing, I think the legislators are rushing to buy airplane for the president.
Of course.
They're in a hurry to buy it.
Of course.
Maybe it's a cover-up, you know,
oh, yes.
to cover the fact that the arrangements have been made. And some of these monies they're borrowing.
Such a thing happened in the past. Sorry to cut you. Such a thing has happened in the past when they were talking about purchase of a yacht for the presidency. Yeah. After few days, a news now came out that the presidential yacht that is being approved is already in Nigeria.
Yeah. There you go.
It has happened before. So there's a possibility that these very jets we keep talking about, and everybody is saying, no, it's not our priority. It's a possibility that it has been bought.
Of course.
True. Absolutely. Like I said, nothing is impossible in this country, this very country. Nothing is impossible. So,
well,
yeah, we
has bought everybody. Tinubu has bought the legislators. He's bought everybody in government. So he can put his foot into any pot of soup he decides to. And nobody can do anything about it, except if we get on.
Yeah, the same with the governors.
Oh, yes, the same with the governors.
Have in this country are just rubber stamps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except the Abia state governor. All the other people are rubbish.
Well, you know,
so until we stand up and be counted.
Yeah.
I think,
and what surprises me is that only Governor Obi is the only one screaming, shouting as loud as his voice can carry him. Why are Atiku emphasizing, hammering on what is going on in this country? You have to come out and criticize what is going wrong, so that next time you want to run, we know where you stand and where you're coming from. Yeah, but everybody else is just keeping quiet.
Oh, yes, indeed.
It's only Peter Obi that is screaming.
Screaming,
and you know what is going to happen when the time people know he has the knowledge, he has the experience, he has the qualifications, he is smart. And when he comes, they say, "Oh no! Even though you have all these qualifications, all these good things with you, but I'm voting for my kinsman. I'm going to vote somebody from my tribe. How can I vote for an Igbo man? And we all will be in the same soup, screaming, stealing, crying, stealing cows. It's terrible. Those people stealing the cows we just saw. When it comes to voting, they won't care about the capacity of the person that needs to lead this country. They will just vote according to their tribe. Yeah, he's from the north. I'm going to vote somebody from the north. He's from the southwest. We're going to vote somebody because he's from southwest. He's from a tribe. I'm going to vote. That's what is going on. And right, Tony, we will continue to shout when things like this starts to happen. That's it.
All
you know.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tony. Our
thank you.
He has given us a much more signal. Thank you so much for your contribution. Christian Oche, due process. If you can unmute and then just very, very brief because of time. Can you tell us what your thoughts, whether you think that Chief Bola Tinubu had actually bought these very private jets for himself, or we should probably, reach out for more reports, because such a purchase that is very large may not, obviously must be known, or, we'll search for the report. But obviously this is just coming in on the tweet, and we feel that we should just, see what your thoughts on it. Or you think that Tinubu had already purchased these presidential jets, or you think that this very particular post is just another media propaganda?
It's the due process. You want to mute yourself. I think he's having some difficulties, yeah.
If Christian Oche, due process is unable to do that, let's talk about this. But what I can tell our viewers is that we'll check out this report, follow it up to see the authenticity of this. Probably in the Europe, where they said these jets are being fitted, reach out to our people in Europe to find out and give us information We believe that this kind of purchase that is very heavy must have a trail that can be seen somewhere. So we'll look up this report to see how we can be able to do a fact check on it and come back with that tomorrow. Meanwhile, as you, yes.
I don't see any reason why we need to do any fact check about this, because for sure, I know that this has actually happened, because the lawlessness in the country is something that is above board. Now, for them to have come out to say that the presidential jet that has, I mean, we all know that this presidential jet never had any issues until they had to go on this last trip. They want to buy something new. They want to spend the money. They know that this jet has been there. Buhari used this jet, I mean, for as long as he was there, and there was no issues with it. Now, what they want to do is they have kept that money aside already. There's nothing anybody can do about that. They have purchased this item, these two presidential jets. They've purchased them. Now they are only just letting you know that, oh, there is a problem with the one we have. Maybe we may have to change it. They have already done this already. They have done this, no issues about that. The government himself, the senators, the legislative house, and every arm of government, they are all aware of this already. They know that, yes, they have done this purchase. It will come as no surprise to nobody again. Come by July, when they are having this other summit they are going to, you see how they're going to bring this jets into play. It's as lawless as that. The youths of Nigeria, they are not going to do anything about it. Regardless of whatever the economic wages are right now, they are not going to do anything about it. It will come, and all they have to do, they will safeguard it with army and the police and whatever, and the end of that. That's how they operate.
Well, I don't see a 940 billion naira moving out of Nigeria without some sort of a paperwork, as the case might be. But all the same, we'll keep our fingers crossed, and of course we'll do a check. I mean, we need to balance our stories to see whether what is coming out from Jackson Ude is actually correct. So, but of course, it just came in and we decided to share it, having this conversation. Moving up, we know our time has really given us signal. We have gone across our time, and the production team here is really on me to leave the studio. But before I leave, I must not fail to welcome Mrs. Mary Okon, who is the president of the Obidient Family Cooperative Society in Yala local government. Of course, each time she joins us, she wants to talk about the welfare of the Obidient Family Cooperative Society in Yala local government of Cross River State. Madam Mary Okon, can you please unmute and then very briefly tell us about the welfare? We know what you've been talking about. Of course, you can reiterate them once again.
In-house. Good evening, everybody. Actually, Madam Mary Okon is not feeling too well. She's on bed rest. My name is Gloriana. I am the local government treasurer of Yala local government area of Cross River State.
You're welcome.
First and foremost, I want to commend every one of you for a job well done. You are doing very, very well, and we believe you're piloting the affairs to the right channel. On behalf of Madam Mary Okon, I want to personally thank her for a very good job that she has been doing in Cross River State, Yala, precisely. She's a woman of integrity. She has gone so far and wide as long as cooperative society is concerned in Yala. She have gotten up to 4,317 members, and right now what we really need in this community is firm input on how we come and empower our people. They are crying. The hardship is so high, and they want to go back to and bring in a farm produce that will help the community in the next season. So please, I don't know. I know she has been hammering on it. I want to, on behalf of the whole Yala local government, comprises of the 14 wards, that she has covered almost 10 wards already. And the others are agitating for her to come over and come and synthesize the more. She needed something practical to prove to them that she is working. Let it not be a verbal talk only. She needed something to prove that the Obidient Family Cooperative Society are really having the interest of our community at heart. So please, we want to beg again, if there's anything you should please help and support Madam Mary Okon, so that this gospel she is preaching can reach to the minimal level at the grassroots. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Please, quick recovery to Mrs. Mary Okon. I will wish her well. And also for the requests, you are talking to the audience, you are talking to all the obedience and well-meaning Nigerians across the world who has heard you. This is the Obidient Family Cooperative Society, Yala local government of Cross River State, that have over 4,000 members who are mostly farmers, requesting for support to get seedlings for their farming season. We at Obidient Family TV also lend our own voice to reaching out to all our audience, all obedience everywhere, no matter how small it is. Please do contribute so that we could be able to send them some funds to purchase farming seedlings so that they can go back to their farm. This is a farming season. And I will also advise the Yala local government executives to come up with the number of items that they require and the amount required to purchase them in their local area, so that we also know the financial implication of what you are requesting for. So kindly put it into a format that we can even display tomorrow, so that we know that if you need maize seedlings to this quantity, and this is the pricing, if you need fertilizers, how many you're looking at according to the number of the farmers, and this is it, so that at least we have a budget. But that doesn't stop any well-meaning Nigerian who feel to support the cooperative, the Obidient Family Cooperatives, not just in Yala local government, but across. But the people who are requesting for this right now that needs our support are the Obidient Family Cooperatives at Yala local government. Thank you so much. That will be all we have for today, until tomorrow when we come your way again. Bye for now.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.